Good morning. Happy to see everybody today. Today's message is one you may have heard before. It is simply, the early bird gets the worm. To me, that means the earlier you arrive somewhere, or if you're able to arrive first somewhere, it'll increase your possibility, your chances of success. Papa Steve found out in his life that getting up early in the morning also applies here. You'll get more done during the day. You'll accomplish more with your life if you're up early and up first. And I promise you that if you strive to be somewhere first, to be somewhere early, you'll have more success. So, since we're talking about worms, what else can you do with worms? That's right, fish. We're going to talk for a few minutes today about fishing. First, let me show you a few things. I have this picture here. It's an old picture. Look at those little kids in that picture and those two big fish they have. Well, those little kids are your mom's Aunt Becky, Aunt Julie, and Uncle Jesse. And they caught those fish, I'm pretty sure, not in the mouth, but perhaps they did. Here's another picture. Here's a picture of your mom. Look at her face. And then here's a picture of Chet. Look at his face. What do all those faces have in common? I'll tell you. They're all smiling. And why are they smiling? Because they're fishing. Fishing is a wonderful thing to do. It's easy to do, and almost anyone can do it. Let's talk about a few things. Papa Steve has set out some different fishing poles here. Here's a big pole, like for catching salmon or large fish. Here's a medium pole for catching other fish. And then here's a kid's pole with a simple to use reel on it. And then a little tiny pole, an ultralight pole with a small reel and a small pole. Now, what do you use the different poles for? Here's the rule. Calvin, pay attention. Here's the rule. Catch a big fish with a big pole and catch a little fish with a little pole. Okay? Big fish, big pole. Little fish, little pole. Now why? Well, if you catch a tiny, say 1 pound fish on this tiny pole here, the pole will bend down. It'll feel like you have a giant fish on there. It'll be a lot of fun. If you catch that same tiny 1 pound fish on this pole, it'll barely move at all. And you'll just reel the fish in. It won't be any fun. So remember, big fish, big pole, little fish, little pole. What else do you need? Well, that's really simple. All you need is something that either is food or looks like food to attract the fish to come and bite your hook. That's it. So what can you use? You can use a lot of different things. Here's some things you can use. They're called flies. See, they're kind of colored and bright, shaped like flies. There's big ones, little ones, and super tiny ones that the fish will think when you land it on the water, it's a bug, and they'll eat it. So flies, that's one way to fish. You can also use lures of different kinds. There's lots of different fake lures, which when you reel them through the water, they kind of turn around and spin, and they look like little other tiny fish to the big fish, and they'll come bite them. So there's things you can do. You can also just use a hook and a bobber. Put a bobber on there with a hook hanging down with some food on the hook, and then the bobber floats on the water. If it goes under the water, it's because a fish pulled it down, and you can catch a fish. You can catch a fish that way. So there's lots of options. You can even, Papa Steve likes to make his own hooks. So I take some hooks and some different colored yarn, maybe some something like this that's bright yellow or bright pink, and use that to attract fish. And then the last thing, as we know, that you can use to catch fish is food things, like worms, which was kind of the thing we started with today. So, in closing for today, I just want you to remember the faces of the people that you saw in the pictures. They were smiling. They were smiling because they were fishing. So if you want to have more fun in life, and you want to have more smiles in life, you need to go fishing more. That's it for today. This is Papa Steve's Workshop, and I'm Papa Steve.